So the Barcelos name derives from a legend of the Barcelos cockerel, which comes from a village in Portugal. It's the story of a pilgrim who was passing through the town of Barcelos, and he was wrongfully accused of a crime and sentenced to hang. He was then brought before a judge about to sit down to his roasted dinner, and he said, if this rooster gets up and crows, then I'm an innocent man. And that's exactly what happened. So the pilgrim was freed and the Barcelos legend was born. So over the 30 years that we've been around, since my dad started the company in Pretoria in South Africa, we've grown to 138 stores across the world, as was mentioned in the video. And for those of you who don't know, peri peri chicken is originally named after pili pili, which is the Swahili word for pepper. And it's a chili from Africa that's become very popular across the world and is liked in most countries around the world. Why our customers choose us is because we have an outstanding product and we deliver it in a quality way. And we have our amazing range of sauces and marinades is what separates us and makes us different from our competitors. We have our own unique flavors, and this is what Barcelos fans like about us. We also have a big focus on customer service and making sure our customers feel special and have a good experience when they're in the stores. And we have clean and modern kitchens. We make sure that we have good equipment. We have key pieces of equipment that really make sure that the product comes out well and is and consistent. And the reason to choose us is that we have a wealth of knowledge. My dad started the business Barcelos in '93, but he's been in the restaurant industry since 1981. He's still very much involved in the business. And he has a team of people in South Africa who between them have over 100 years of experience in the restaurant industry. So you're taken care of when you work with us. Nitin Mago is an astute leader. He's got 20 years of valuable experience. And as Gaurav said, he started off his restaurant journey in India. So he has a very good experience of the Indian market, and he'll be along with me to guide us through this journey in India. Barcelos has a track record in India. We opened the first store in Khan Market in 2015. And it was very successful. People really enjoyed the product, and we expanded over the course of 5 years to open 10 stores around in and around India in different cities, such as Hyderabad and Kolkata and Jaipur. But unfortunately, due to the pandemic, it became untenable to manage the stores. We had very big format stores with very high rentals, and it was different to the DNA of Barcelos. Internationally, we have a much smaller footprint, which is easier to manage. It's got lower overheads and therefore ends up giving the investor a better ROI. So now that we're coming back into India, we'd like to, go back to our roots, and this is the approach that we think would be good for the country and will allow Barcelos to spread its wings and open a lot more outlets in the future. We've recently developed a store management and training application. Reason for this is, as we scale, it's become more and more difficult to make sure that everybody's on the same page with products and making sure that the consistency is there. And by digitizing all of this, we're able to make sure that if you have staff turnover, you're able to make sure that your staff are trained sufficiently and keep the wheels in motion. So our mission is to unite the people of the world around a Barcelos meal. Nothing makes me more excited than being in a Barcelos restaurant somewhere in the world and seeing someone try the product for the first time. That's been that's what drives me and gets me up in the morning. So that's what our mission is at Barcelos, is to just get the product out there and see everyone experience it and enjoy it. So these are some of the concept designs of the outlets that we would like to put up, and just to give you guys a look and feel of the restaurants, and sort of a mood board of things that we would use in the stores. And as I mentioned, the strategy for India is going back to our roots, and our learnings over 30 years have allowed us to identify where the brand must be positioned in the market. So our target is small format stores in middle class, high footfall areas, targeting the young crowd who value great quality at reasonable prices. Our emphasis is on being healthier but equally satisfying, a fast food alternative to big entrenched brands. And we're looking at store footprints of not more than 160 square meters. So this is to reduce your initial capex and your future opex. And we're looking at championing a fast casual approach to fast food in India by reducing the friction in implementing this system. We'll utilize ordering at the table technology so that customers don't have to queue as they do in fast casual in the US and the UK. And we believe that this approach will endear us with up and coming generation who value speed of service and quality. Who we're looking for? We're looking for regional licensed partner profile, regional licensed partners with preferably with previous experience in food and beverage business, direct or indirect, with a strong financial standing, with the ability to invest to open a minimum of 5 stores in a time frame of 3 years, who's ready to build and train an efficient operations team, and has to be focused on hospitality and understanding that delivering the highest levels of product quality, cleanliness, hygiene, customer service, and pleasant ambience, that's all essential to making Barcelos a success. And you would have to have a fair knowledge of cost control and capex budgeting, and a good understanding of the franchise business commitments, and a desire to grow with a long-term vision of business expansion and stakeholders value creation.
Just to summarize what Jared said, it's a great presentation, and we are looking for area developers, people who would come and open up multi-unit stores in the region, largely people who have the same passion and experience, especially if you have experience in F&B and some kind of operations past you have run, or somebody who has extremely strategic locations can also apply, because this is all going to be all about location. It's very, very important for the F&B business. And we started to invite applications. Each application would go through a detailed interview process. Once we have done the interview, then I think it will pass it on to Nitin. He will like to speak to the candidate, and once he also feels the candidate has done, then we will take it to Jared and Costa's office for them to review the candidate and the profile. As I said, idea is to really look at to begin with one good partner who is really committed to the business and also has all the financial and operational bandwidth to run and support the business.
So I'll take this opportunity to introduce everyone to how the financials and the franchise model in the Indian market that we have projected. In terms of the models, if I tell you about it, so we would be introducing 2 kinds of models. One would be a QSR model, which would be somewhere around 1200 to 1500 square feet, which would be a QSR. And the other model which we would like to introduce would be a casual dining experience, which would be somewhere between 1500 to 2000 square feet, wherein we'll also introduce a revenue stream in terms of our alcohol, in terms of your draft beers and wine. So let me just share my screen and introduce everyone to the models that we have prepared.
Sure.
All right. So to start with the QSR model, we are projecting a area requirement of around 1200 square feet, wherein
This is a carpet area, 1200.
Yes.
Just to remind, if you take in shopping malls, it might be much bigger because your efficiencies are only 65% or lesser. So this is a carpet 1200 square feet, which is a minimum requirement. If it is higher than that, it's fine, but this is a minimum requirement for a carpet to 1200, and where we can get complete 1200 efficiencies. Yeah. Yeah, Nikita.
Okay, thank you. So when we speak about our investment, so the franchise fee we are taking at around 10 lakh rupees. For interior fit out cost, we would be taking around 26 to 27 lakh rupees. Then would be a designing cost introduced. The kitchen equipment would be roughly around 27 to 28 lakh rupees. All the equipment support would be given through the Barcelos, the specific equipment. Then would be your other capex in terms of your sound
systems, your POS of
systems. Then would be your other expenses for your capex in terms of your uniforms, your fire and safety, housekeeping. The opening expense in terms of your initial inventories that would be required in terms of your food, your disposable packagings and any cutleries, roughly around 7 lakh rupees. The signage, which would be an exterior signage at 2 lakh rupees. Then would be your other expenses in terms of your printing, your launch marketing for 2 lakhs. So what we are projecting as a project cost for a 1200 square feet for a QSR model is somewhere close to 80 lakh rupees. That is the capex associated with a QSR model. The other working capital is a lean deposit. When I speak about the revenues that are projected in terms of what we studied into the Indian market, so for a QSR, we have kept our APCs at around 500 to 600 rupees. The occupancy for a 1200 square feet area, we are considering roughly around 40 seaters for 40 covers. In terms of our cost and goods, those are also very attractive into the market through the brand support and all the SOPs that would be aligned. So our cost of goods is roughly around 33 to 35% into this model. The royalties that the brand is taking is around 7%, keeping all your other expenses as the operational expenses. So what we are projecting is, and also the salaries that would be associated into this model would be roughly around 1.7 to 1.8 lakh rupees. With number of people required is around 9 to 10 into the system. When we speak about our annual revenue, so we are projecting roughly around 2 to 3 lakh rupees of net revenue per month for a QSR model. Keeping into consideration your direct expenses for your cost, your cost of goods, your salaries, and other expenses.
Excuse me, Nikita.
Yes.
Sorry, I'd like to just clarify. You said 2 to 3. It should be not 2 to 3, right? Revenue. You just mentioned revenue. Can you repeat that, please?
Oh, I'm really sorry. That was I interpreted into the dollars. So roughly around 2 to 3 CR would be your yearly revenue.
Annual revenue, yes. Okay. Now better.
Yes. So considering all the expenses, our EBITDA is coming to roughly around 50 to 60 lakh rupees in the first year of operations and improving to around 80 to 90 lakh rupees in the further tenure of the business. So here, our payback period that we project into this system for an investment of roughly around 80 lakh rupees is around 15 to 16 months. So this is a model we are projecting for a QSR platform for around 1200 to 1500 square feet. So earlier we presented you the QSR model. Now when we discuss about a model with introduction of a draught beer bar, so we require an area of around 2000 square feet, which would be greater than 1500 square feet that is required. Considering it to be roughly around 2000 square feet, our rentals we are projecting is roughly around 3.5 to 4 lakh rupees. Then seeking an sitting area of roughly around 1200 to 1500 square feet, and the other part being a kitchen area. So we are projecting our covers for this model around 70 to 75 covers. In terms of speaking about investment, our franchise fee is about 12 lakh rupees. Our fit out cost is around 40 to 45 lakh rupees as projected. Then would be your expenses in terms of your kitchen equipment, which has been considered at 30 to 35 lakh rupees. Then your sound systems installed into the store, your billing software, your uniforms, housekeeping and fire safety equipment. Then would be your pre-opening expenses for your crockery, cutlery and initial kitchen inventory at around 9 lakh rupees. So keeping in mind all the capex and your launch and marketing for around 3 lakh rupees, since we would also be opting for a beer license, so around 10 lakh rupees could be considered as a license
cost. So what we project in terms of
reduced is roughly around 1.15 to 1.2 CR for a
format with bar. Keeping into mind all your provisions and your lease deposits,
consider around 50 rupees for your per customer billing. Occupancy is at 70%. In terms of your cost of goods, the food and beverages at 30%, alcoholic beverages at 26 to 27%. Any wastages or pilferage has also been considered as part of the expenses. Considering that we would require around 13 to 15 people in our store, your monthly salaries would come to roughly around 2.5 to 3 lakh rupees. Royalties, as we discussed, at 7%, and then would be your other operational expenses considered into the business. If I speak about your yearly P&L, so around 3 to 3.75 CR, we are considering your annual net revenues in the first year, and then we actually move to higher revenues percentages around 4 to 4.5 CR as well. Then taking out your expenses that we just discussed in terms of your cost of goods, salaries, royalties and other operational expenses, our EBITDA comes to around 82 to 87 lakh rupees for first year of operation, and we improve to 1.2 to 1.3 CR in the next fold of your agreement. So here the payback period, what we are projecting is roughly around 17 to 18 months, where we also considered our license renewals, all your operational expenses. So this would be a model where the investment we break even in 17 to 18 months on an investment of around 1.1 to 1.2 CR. So these are the two models that we are presenting into the Indian market.